Ladies and gentlemen, politics is more often than not about perception. It is also sometimes the art of U-turns. And we saw a masterclass on it yesterday when Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to News 18 India in Kashi yesterday, a day where he filed his nominations. 24 days after his infamous dog whistle in Banswara, Rajasthan, where he warned people that the Congress would take away their wealth and redistribute it to Ghuspetias who produce more children, the Prime Minister did what can be called many things: U-turn, damage control, clarification, etc. But before I tell you what exactly he said to News 18, listen in to his statement from 21st of April.
और पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है? ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे। और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। भाइयों बहनों, ये अर्बन नक्सल की सोच, मेरी माताओं बहनों, ये आपका मंगलसूत्र भी बचने नहीं देंगे। यहां तक जाएंगे, मैं कहने आया हूं।
Well, you heard what the Prime Minister said. This was right after phase 1 of polling. Now, ahead of phase 5 of polling, he has made a rather interesting claim. He says in an interview to News 18 that when he said zyada bacche paida karne wale, he didn't mean Muslims but the poor people of India. He of course didn't offer a clarification on the word Ghuspetia, one that he's used for Muslims from before he became Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi also said, and I quote, "जिस दिन मैं हिंदू मुस्लिम की राजनीति करूंगा, उस दिन मैं सार्वजनिक जीवन में रहने के योग्य नहीं रहूंगा." He also asserted, and I quote, "मैं हिंदू मुसलमान नहीं करूंगा, ये मेरा संकल्प है." But can the Prime Minister honestly say that he's never made references to any specific community? Well, I think our viewers would appreciate this very quick look back. In 2015, during the Bihar Assembly elections, Prime Minister Modi warned a rally about a conspiracy by his rivals to snatch away the benefits of reservation in education and jobs from the scheduled caste and backward groups and give them to a particular community. Then, in the 2017 UP Assembly elections, the Prime Minister declared that if a Kabristan was built in a village, so should a Shamshan. If Ramzan means uninterrupted power supply, so should Diwali. Then in the 2019 Lok Sabha campaign, Modi mocked Rahul Gandhi for contesting from Wayanad, a place he described as one where the minority is the majority. Then, during the Jharkhand Assembly elections the same year, the Prime Minister said that those fanning the flames of the anti-CAA protest could be recognized by their clothes. And last year, campaigning for the Karnataka Assembly elections, the Prime Minister accused his main rival, the Congress, of having locked up Lord Ram and having made plans to lock up Lord Hanuman as well. And finally, during the Rajasthan elections, the Prime Minister blamed Udaipur tailor Kanhaiya Lal's murder by two radical Muslims on the Congress's vote bank politics. Now, the Prime Minister has accused the opposition of tarnishing his image amongst the Muslims after the 2002 Godhra riots. But the opposition seems to have quoted from one of the Prime Minister's most infamous memes. They are saying, hypocrisy की भी सीमा होती है.
प्रधानमंत्री का पूरा प्रचार हिंदू मुस्लिम करके रहा है। सब लोग जानते हैं, सब लोगों ने देखा है, सुना है, पढ़ा है। और आज कहते हैं कि अगर मैं हिंदू मुस्लिम की राजनीति करता हूं, मुझे सार्वजनिक जीवन में रहना मैं लायक नहीं हूं, बिल्कुल लायक नहीं है। ऐसे प्रधानमंत्री जो गलती भी से भी सच नहीं बोलती, जो हमारा राष्ट्रीय मोटो है, जो हमारा राष्ट्रीय चिन्ह है, 4 सिम 4 शेर, उसके नीचे लिखा जाता है सत्यमेव जयते। पर ये पहले प्रधानमंत्री है जिसका मूल सिद्धांत है सुबह असत्यमेव जयते।
Karan Verma is an author joining us on the broadcast. Will be speaking on behalf of the BJP. Kamruzaman Chaudhary is a political analyst. Ghanshyam Tiwari is spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the Prime Minister of this country, is saying, look, during Eid when I was young, food never was cooked in my house because Muslims from the area would send me food. He is also saying that I have good friends who are Muslims, and he's saying, मैं हिंदू मुस्लिम की राजनीति नहीं करता. People misunderstood my zyada bachche wala comment. How do you respond to what the Prime Minister is saying?
Prem Shreya, to you, the viewers and fellow co-panelists, let us not burden our outgoing Prime Minister with the baggage of truth. Let us take on face value every lie that he has said. And it is because of these lies that people of India are ready to give him a farewell. Right from the day the election started to where it will end, which is Varanasi, a city that is known for giving grand farewell to people. So as the Prime Minister is being given farewell, phase after phase in this election, BJP is faced to answer one simple question. What led to the massive debacle and massive fracture of brand Modi? And the simple answer is blatant lies, brutal lies. The blatant lies are what you showed in the program. The brutal lies is the Prime Minister who said, or whose government said that they don't have the number of people who died due to lack of oxygen. A BJP who said that they will make Bhrashtachar Bharat and then bagged 13,000 crores in donations. Media report says 80,000 crore was what BJP got through various sources to construct their 5-star-like offices and various campaigns.
But Ghanshyam,
So, entire BJP is engulfed in lies, and this is leading to their permanent departure from Indian politics in these elections.
But Ghanshyam, if the Prime Minister of the country is coming out and clarifying his statement, he's not said anything about his Ghuspetiya comment, but he's saying, I certainly didn't mean Muslims when I said जो ज़्यादा बच्चे पैदा करते हैं, ये गरीब लोग भी, गरीब तबका भी ज़्यादा बच्चे पैदा करता है, and that is what I meant. I didn't say Hindu Muslim. This was your interpretation, this was the media's interpretation, and this was the opposition's interpretation. So when the Prime Minister comes out and clarifies, why should we not believe him? Why should we not give him the benefit of doubt?
Shreya, we are not the judge here. The Election Commission is. When the Election Commission of India could not even find basic courage to tell the Prime Minister that stop making these hate speeches day in and day out, it means the system is failed. When one goes to jails across the country of people who are convicted of heinous crimes, you ask them, many of them will say they did not commit the crime. Many of them who have been seen committing crime in broad daylight in front of other witnesses will say they did not commit a crime. Here the Prime Minister in broad daylight, day after day, across as visible people of India, committed hate speech. And he has the audacity to come and turn it around with a blatant lie that मैं Hindu Muslim नहीं करता. As I said, that the Prime Minister is on his farewell because of his lies. He has an entire rest of his life to think about. Why did people of India stop believing him? I'm not sure
you know, Ghanshyam, that's being very optimistic, and it's good to be optimistic in politics and in life generally, but I don't think we are saying goodbye to Prime Minister Modi just as yet. But anyhow, you're entitled to your views. Karan Verma, you're speaking on behalf of the BJP. Please help me understand why, when the opposition says hypocrisy ki bhi seema hoti hai, they may not be very wrong. I mean, all of us heard what the Prime Minister said. Everyone knows what he meant. Why is he making this U-turn? Why is he giving us this clarification?
I remember being on your show, Shreya, and I told you that very day that when he talked about Ghuspetiya, And when he talked about Zada Bachche, he did not mention Muslims. I remember saying that loud and clear on your show. So the Prime Minister has said this today, and I don't see any hypocrisy. And Shreya, let's look at hard data now. Now, don't hear what Ghanshyamji is saying or what I am saying. Let's look at the hard numbers, because I believe the proof of the pudding lies in the eating. Minorities before 2014, 5% had government jobs. Today that number has gone up to 10%. 20,000 skill trained. Today it is up to 2 million skill trained. 70% girls school dropout rate. It is down to 30% now. Look at all the beneficiary schemes. Awas Yojana. Muslims happen to be 14%, but 31% of the beneficiaries in Awas Yojana are Muslims. 34% of the beneficiaries in the Ujjwala scheme are Muslims. 37% of the Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana beneficiaries happen to be Muslims. Shadi Shagun scheme, 50,000 given to a Muslim graduate girl, irrespective, no questions asked. So Mr. Modi has walked the talk and delivered. He has never made any discrimination, even back in 2014. I remember when he was pitching for Prime Minister, he said, look at the per capita income of Muslims in Gujarat. It is more than double that of in Bengal. So this is a man who doesn't believe in appeasement. He calls out appeasement loud and clear, whether people like it or not. But when he delivers, he delivers for one and all.
So if he was calling out appeasement, Karan, I take your point, but yes, you know, when he's against appeasement and he's not someone who will appease any community, please help me understand what was the need for the dog whistle in Banswara, because that is what it was. That is what it was. घुसपैठिए जो ज्यादा बच्चे पैदा करते हैं, and the Prime Minister is saying मैंने तो हिंदू मुस्लिम नहीं बोला था. You are also saying, Karan Verma, that हिंदू मुस्लिम नहीं बोला था. तो घुसपैठिए कौन है? हिंदू तो घुसपैठिए है नहीं. आप तो उनको शरणार्थी बोलते हैं, राइट? जो दूसरे देशों से आते हैं, जिनको सीए के अंतर्गत टुडे 14 people have got Indian citizenship. They are शरणार्थीज. You don't call them घुसपैठियाज, right? हिंदू तो होते नहीं है, तो वो तो मुस्लिम ही होते हैं जिनको आप बोल रहे हैं. ये भी तो देखिए, लॉजिक आप दे रहे हैं, तो इतना तो बेवकूफ मत समझिए ना. देश की जनता को इतना तो बेवकूफ नहीं समझना चाहिए, करण.
Okay. So, Shreya, there is always a distinction between an infiltrator and a refugee. A refugee is someone who has been persecuted on basis of whatever. CAA is based on basis of persecution on religion, but it could be persecution based on anything. So if there is a persecuted who is coming to our country irrespective of religion, that one is a refugee. But an infiltrator is someone who's coming here in search for better economic benefits. Right. So he is saying that if there are infiltrators and someone wants to appease them, like the way people want to appease Rohingyas, you know. So do you want our benefits to be given to Rohingyas?
Who are these infiltrators?
Congress talks about,
are they Hindus?
It's a very logical
Who are
point.
these infiltrators? They are not Hindus, na? No. Who are these infiltrators? They are not Hindus. They are not Sikhs. They are not Buddhists, right? Because we call them political refugees, and we give them citizenship. So clearly, as far as the BJP is concerned, they are not. No. I'm not mixing CA. Karan, all I'm saying is, when he says Ghuspaitiya, and the Prime Minister can say, "Maine to Hindu Muslim nahi bola tha," but he's clearly referring to Muslims, because there is no Hindu Ghuspaitiya, right?
I don't say this. आप CAA से इसको confuse कर रहे हो. एक मिनट मेरी पूरी बात सुनना. One thing is religious persecution from neighboring countries. That is Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Right? That is a different matter altogether, for which CAA has been promulgated. But if there is anyone of any faith who's trying to enter our country for economic benefits, we don't see religion in it. We call him an infiltrator. That is what that person is.
Achha.
So CAA is a rule made specially for the persecuted ones. An infiltrator can be anyone who's coming here, who's not persecuted but is coming here for economic benefits. So I think there's a real distinction between the two.
Mr. Chaudhary,
yes, we have Ghanshyamji here.
Mr. Chaudhary, do you buy?
Indulges in dog whistling. Whose party actually indulges in dog whistling.
Okay, Mr. Chaudhary,
can I make a point, please?
Would you
approaches the court
just a minute. Can I just get Mr. Chaudhary in?
They say कि भाई मुजफ्फरनगर riots में
ठीक है, just a minute. Can I get in Mr. Chaudhary in?
So that is dog whistle.
Okay, Karan. Okay. Kamruzaman, you've heard the explanation coming by way of Karan Verma. You've heard the explanation coming by way of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What do you make of it?
Yeah, before responding to the absurd logic of Karan Verma, let me just go into the holistic approach that the Prime Minister Modi has placed in front of us. You know, by the end of the seventh phase of the election, I believe Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to woo the Muslim voters, he might be even reciting the Kalima also. I am not sure, though I am apprehensive if he ever will do. But leave aside this thing, in 2019, if the elections was all about establishing the autocracy, I believe 2024 is going to be establishment of the bigotry of the Bharatiya Janata Party government. Their entire ideology, their entire premise is based on hate. That's what I feel as an ordinary citizen. Because if the Bharatiya Janata Party, led by our Prime Minister, tries to vilify me, tries to make a nobody as an Indian, the Muslim population of this country are facing, as it is, the political annihilation that I call them. The isolation of the entire community in the hands of the power, in terms of power or in terms of education, unemployment, or in terms of reaching the benefits of the government. Successive lieutenants of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, like successive, I mean the Chief Minister of Assam, let's say Himanta Biswa Sharma. What did he do out there? You all know how he destroyed the Madrasa Board, a 100-year-old institution. How he brought in the various other laws that vilifies only the Muslim population. You bring in the UCC without even going into the merits and demerits. You brought in the triple talaq despite our asking for the data on the total number of people affected in the country, on the basis of which you have brought this law. There is no explanation coming from the BJP government.
Okay.
Now this government, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and led by Bharatiya Janata Party, will try to only cater to the Hindu appeasement by vilification of the Muslims, so that more and more Hindus feel threatened in India according to the Bharatiya Janata Party and vote for them. That's their only logic and principle. I don't find any logic in it. Coming back to Karan Verma, 10 more seconds I will take. You know, the absurdity of the CAA is that the most people that were affected by citizenship issue was in Assam and West Bengal. Out of the 20 lakh people who were not there in the NRC list, not a single person applied for the CAA rules framed by the Amit Shah ministry. In West Bengal, despite so much hue and cry among the Matuas and the Rajbangshis, not even a single person applied. Why? Why did you want to bring this?
Okay.
In your records, you have got some 3,000 refugees from West Pakistan coming into India for religious persecution. You could have as well given that, as Indira Gandhi had given to Uganda refugees. But you want to make it a case that देखो हम हिंदुओं का हिमायती है, हम हिंदुओं के लिए ऐसा कर रहे हैं.
Okay, Karan Verma, I have one last question and I have exactly 20 seconds for you to respond. The Prime Minister has said, मैं हिंदू मुस्लिम की राजनीति नहीं करता. The day I do it, I will have no place in सार्वजनिक जीवन / public life. I want to ask you, as someone who's speaking on the show on behalf of the BJP, exactly how many tickets the BJP has given to Muslims in this election? कितने लोगों को दिया बताइए?
Is this going to be the criteria to judge how he is devoted to Muslims or Hindus? I mean, are we going to bring it down to this? I talked about skilling.
I'm asking you.
I talked about houses. I talked about tap water connections.
Yes.
I talked about gas connections. That is
Karan
the problem.
Verma, answer my question.
Shreya, this is exactly the problem. In लोगों ने पहली बात तो महाराष्ट्र में Congress has not given a single ticket. Congress has been castigated for this, but this is not going to be the criteria. Just because someone is not giving a ticket, say, to a homosexual,
how many
does it mean someone is against them? This cannot be the criteria. We have to change the discourse. And that is what Prime Minister Modi has done. He has
Karan
talked
Verma,
about skilling.
I asked you a
He's
question.
talked about growth. He doesn't believe in appeasement. He believes in delivery.
Okay, I will answer that question.
So I'm telling you, it doesn't
I will
matter
answer
to
the
me.
question, Karan Verma.
Even
The
if it's
BJP
zero,
has
it doesn't
given
matter.
exactly one ticket. Well, it was 0 last time. This time it is 1. Only one Muslim has got a BJP ticket from in these Lok Sabha elections. And I think that tells, for you it doesn't matter. To me, it tells me a story. We'll leave it there for the moment. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Karan Verma, Kamruzaman Chaudhary, thank you very much. And Ghanshyam Tiwari, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast.